See you in the Bay, Aubrey. You weren't talking tonight, were you? Bum ass.
It's all right. It's okay. You guys work at it, right? Stick your head up. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's 1-1.
Yeah.
And you squeeze that, by the way.
We'll be all right.
And you squeeze that.
You see that?
You play nice tonight.
That was light work, too.
Your head up.
Lucky I popped my head.
Sir. We got you.
See you in Oracle, you bum ass. Bum ass. First of all, how weak are you, Clay, that you're hiding behind the big man KD and behind the wall? You know me. If you're going to talk to a man and you're running your mouth, get at least so we can see you.
Yeah.
Get in front of him. All right? Like when Drake's talking ish to people, he's face to face. Okay? KD, I don't mind. Drake was trolling him with the sweater.
Yeah.
Again,
KD
nice
should've
troll
said
job.
something, yeah.
Nice troll job, right? But Clay, don't be hiding. Show your face. I know your hamstring's a little hobbled, you're a little hurt, but get in there, man. That's weak sauce. Hiding behind a wall and hiding behind big ass Kevin
Hiding
Durant,
behind a
7
wall
foot,
saying fucking light work.
saying light work,
my
bro.
ass,
5-point game.
5-point game and you got injured. That ain't light work, bro. That's you put in work.
All right, for Addis Kucukovic, I'm Jay Boyal. We were in the mix. Raptors lost a heartbreaker, even though it seemed like it was gonna be a slap. It turned out to be a heartbreaker.
Yep.
5 point, 109, 104. We got lots of Leafs off-season news as well to get to, and a big heavyweight fight that went on the weekend.
Big
Anthony
upset.
Joshua upset my guy UK. We were standing up proud, and then we sat the fuck down.
Exactly.
All right, upset by the big fat Mexican Andy Ruiz. Credit to him though.
Drake curse continues.
Yeah, don't even. People have been sending me that meme of him tweeting, "Gonna break the curse, Joshua," right? And hashtag OVO whatever. Buddy, if there's a real curse, Raptors would have been out first round,
Exactly.
second round, third round.
Against Philly.
Stop this Drake curse, please. He proved it wrong.
It's a curse for fighters. If you're a fighter, please stay away from Drake.
It's only been Connor and Joshua. Who else?
Again, those are the two
Didn't
biggest
didn't
draws.
Gervonta Davis win?
Was he with him?
Yeah, when that time when he effed up his weigh-in, and then it wasn't for the title anymore. Didn't he still win that fight?
Yeah, but
And he was wearing OVO shorts, and Drake was repping him. So even the fighter curse, get that garbage out of here. All right. Now tell me, why did the Raptors lose and suck in the second half? When in the first half, all seemed well. All was well. We thought potential of 2-0. I was telling you guys, don't get excited, but it fell off a cliff
We've
quick.
talked about this countless times. They were playing the Golden State Warriors. Shooting is not the way to win, especially from the three-point line. They want you to take that shot because, again, that is the best three-point shooting team in the league. Probably, again, you have two of the best shooters in history of basketball. You cannot outshoot them. Keep attacking the inside. Remember, start of the third, what was it? I think they took, it was over 5 threes, must have been. Missed every single one every time they went down low. Either score the basket or got
get
the
a foul to the line.
Exactly.
So the Raptors went on 2 very big dry spells. Let me just give you some context to how bad it was when they had 0 buckets in that 6-minute stretch in the third quarter. Golden State went on an 18-0 run to start the third quarter. That was the biggest run in NBA Finals history since the merger in terms of the length,
Really?
without the other team scoring. The biggest in NBA
Damn, I
Finals
didn't know
history. And the Raptors were on the wrong side of it. And still, you can claw your way back.
But hey,
You
exactly,
get there in
and
the
they did.
fourth,
Yep.
right? Klay Thompson goes out. They start running the much maligned and talked about last night and this morning box and one defense. We'll get into that.
Yep.
But then, with 4 minutes left, the box and one defense was working well. Hold Golden State. You were stuck 7 for about 4 minutes until Kawhi gets to the line, gets 2 free throws. Danny Green hits the 3 with a minute left. And then, bad defensive possession there. Couldn't foul Draymond. Would you have fouled Draymond or Livingston before the ball got to Iguodala? Before Kawhi tried
felt
to
like
steal?
That's what they should have done. And I heard Nick Nurse say that too. He wanted them to get a foul before anything even happened.
Yeah.
But
Then you lose that
too
opportunity.
slow.
So
They went for the steal.
then you have to try to steal on Steph because you don't want to foul Steph.
Yep.
He's automatic. But if you had fouled Livingston or Draymond, you probably have a 75% chance that they're going to miss one of those shots.
Exactly.
Call a timeout. You have your half-court offense to hit a 3 to tie the game.
Even if let's say they did hit both, you still have time to work there. You know?
Yeah.
The clock's not running short.
Now, I think if you ran back that game and you got the same looks, sure they took too many threes.
Yeah.
But I think Nick Nurse and the Raptors would be happy with the way their offense got the looks. just couldn't capitalize. But I still think they got to go inside more. And especially when even their deep twos, the mid-range game was so atrocious, all right? So the Raptors shot only 37% from the field, 35 of 94. Golden State, 46%, 38 of 82. So the Raptors had, 6 more offensive possessions. 3-point line, Raptors 28%, Golden State 38. So if you lose in both those categories by 10 points against the Golden State Warriors, and then the assist totals, what was it? Was it 20 or 22 straight?
Yeah, 22 straight.
22 straight buckets by the Warriors
22
were
straight
assisted.
assists, exactly.
And the assist ended off 34-17. And I think that tells the story of the game. In that fourth quarter and the third quarter, the Raptors were so stagnant, became Kawhi-centric in the fourth. He couldn't get anything done. Was only 1 of 6 in the fourth. Sure, he was getting blitzed. But he's got to find a way to get something off the floor. Because his totals throughout the series, you might argue with me, but I do not like them. All right? So through 2 games, he's 26 of 28 from the free throw line. Fantastic. Great job. Only 13 of 34 from the floor. So you're shooting about 35% in this series from the floor. Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
13 buckets in 2 games. For a guy who's supposed to be top 3 best player in the world, which I think he is. You got to get something from the floor. And if you double team, then you got to recognize it like you did better in game 1, like you did against Milwaukee. Kick the ball out to your shooters. And, okay, sure they're missing, but they weren't missing many on Kawhi kicking them out.
But what we talked about it while we were watching the game last night. Kawhi would get double teamed. You see 2 guys covering him. All the other players are standing around waiting. We were talking about we need some movement there. Even setting an off-ball screen, you can get 2 guys open. If you have a double team and you get an off-ball screen, you could pass it to either guy at that point. Because you have that one defender lost as to where he's going to go.
And I know people are probably thinking we're coach couches, but we've said this time and time and again. I don't understand.
If you watch the game, you could literally see a huge openings for it.
I like Nick Nurse. I do not understand, though, how he has never implemented any off-ball movement into this lineup.
Any off-ball screens.
There's no off-ball screens. There's barely any off-ball movement. When they do get the movement, they're swinging the ball. That first half and last game, that ball was being chucked around, and Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry were running circles, kind of like Steph and Clay do, just to get that everybody switching up and get some matchups in your favor. Get Siakam against a smaller guy. I want Siakam okay, if Boogie Cousins, which great job by him, and I love that Steve Kerr only announced he's in the starting lineup half an hour before the game started, that really screwed up the Raptors. They did not game plan for Boogie playing 30 minutes. They had no idea that was going to happen.
Exactly.
So, okay, but if he can handle Marcus All, what you got to do going forward to next game, because Von Looney's probably going to be out. You have to try and get some mismatches. I want Siakam to be going against DeMarcus Cousins on the offensive end. Siakam is so much quicker and should be able to go right by him to the hole, as he has done to numerous centers throughout the playoffs and throughout the season. And the good thing about Siakam is when he realizes how much he's got the matchup in his favor, if he's on a smaller guy, turn your back to him like he did against Iguodala, and we're screaming, turn your back, and they had Clay on him. And he went over him, but he only had 12 points last night. And when he's got a bigger guy, like he did with Brook Lopez when he was switched on him against Milwaukee, he's so much quicker. He can go right by him. And same with DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins coming off 2 lower body injuries, one Achilles, then what was the last one? Lower body as well. He cannot stay with Spicy
You gotta frustrate him with DeMarcus Cousins.
You saw him take that stupid technical, got us back into the game.
The technicals.
That was the only thing that got us back in the last minute.
If you keep leaving him comfortable and like, they're interviewing him after like he was like freaking the team leader, you know, like you can't have him feeling like that, because then he's gonna actually show up. Once you start frustrating him, giving him different looks and stuff, again he's gonna commit technicals like he did in the fourth.
How big was it that Lowry fouled out with, just under 4 minutes or just about 4 minutes left in the game?
Like, are you saying that it was a bad thing or a good thing?
How is it a good thing? Oh, you tell me. Do you think it was big or not?
As much okay, I can see how it is bad, because you have like your starting point guard off. But again, if he did not get fouled out and was not sitting out, Danny Green was not in the game to hit that 3 to bring it within 2 points.
You don't think Kyle Lowry would have hit it?
Not the way he was playing last night.
He shot 4 of 11, 3 of 7 from deep. Yeah. So he had hit 3-pointers prior. He'd only missed one that was wide open.
Those 3 were in the first half.
No, I think that the one where Kawhi was falling out of bounds and threw that to him in the corner after he missed one, I think that was in the third quarter, towards the end. I think not having Kyle on the floor, not even for shooting, those last 3 minutes when they couldn't get anything, no basket, neither team, not even for him to score, but for him to facilitate. And he does attract attention on the offense. Whether you want to admit it or not, he does. And what he does well is Fred VanVleet has no ability to go inside. He had one layup yesterday, a tough layup, and then he thought he was God.
That's what I mean. It was actually a bad thing for him to get that layup because he kept thinking he's going to keep getting that layup, and he kept missing it.
And was getting blocked to taking
Yeah.
atrocious looks, right? Where Kyle, he's smart enough to recognize, okay, if that layup's not there,
Yeah.
he's just kind of like Steve Nash does.
We were talking,
Keep running it around, go under the basket. Because
Open
now
up the
Spicy
floor,
P or Kawhi open for that backdoor cut, which Golden
Exactly.
State does so well. So I think not having him on the floor was a big minus for the Raptors. But there's nobody to fault. Okay, couple bad calls. But that last foul at the other end of the floor, 80 feet from your own basket, you're trying that backward steal from Cousins? Come on, man. You have 5 fouls. You can't do that. That's on him fouling out.
Yeah.
As much as you want to say the refs put him in that position to get there, he's the only reason why he fouled
Can't
out.
say that though, yeah, because you are a player. You know where you're at foul wise. So if you know you only have 1 foul left before you're out of the game, don't be doing dumb plays like that.
Yeah, and
Be aware. It's almost like with the whole J.R. Smith thing, you know. Be aware of where you're at in the game.
so if you look back at it, so 6 fouls yesterday. He had 5 fouls game 1
Yep.
and 5 fouls game 6 against Milwaukee. He's played sloppy defense, and I think that's hurt his offense
Plays
too because
really
it gets in your
aggressive,
head. And we talked about in the Milwaukee series when they won 4 straight, how good he had been. Not only just his scoring, but his energy, his
Yeah.
drives. He's going to take the charges. And sure, people were mad about that one charging call yesterday. Even though it looked like Kyle Lowry got the charge, that is the hardest call for an NBA official to make. It's so
It is,
bang
but
bang.
It's weird to me how they called it game 1, the exact same play on the Marcus Cousins, and they called it like first quarter.
Yep.
And it's like, how do you not do that? How do you not call it again? Why all of a sudden is it changed? It's literally the same play.
Yep.
I don't understand.
So,
it.
all right,
The refs are working. I don't even know what they're thinking when they're on the court.
we've
sometimes.
gone through what the Raptors didn't do.
Yeah.
What did Golden State do to limit them?
They are what I always say. There's a difference between having to take the 3 and wanting to take the 3. I feel like a lot of times they're so stuck that it's like it's a forced 3. I don't see. There's no play. There's no playmaking. There's nothing. They're just gonna probably a few feet away from the 3-point line. Just
Oh, you're still
throw it
talking
up.
Raptors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that Golden State was forcing them to take those 3s. They were kind of leaving them open around the 3-point line. Go, shoot the 3s. Same with Siakam and like Van Fleet. They kept shooting those 3s.
Well, I think
Make a play. Come in the inside. You're so successful
what Golden State
inside of the 3-point.
what Golden State did, and it goes back to even Boogie Cousins playing the 30 minutes. Then when Kevon Looney goes out, they give you a heavy dose of not only Draymond but Boogie and Bogut.
Yep.
And they won the big man battle.
They did
The Golden State Warriors did.
because they were
Alright.
so worried about the shots.
Yeah, and Raptors stopped going inside
Yeah.
because they knew we're getting outmanned, and they're playing way more physical. Nick Nurse said to start the third, we lost our physicality. And they just started saying, all right, let's take an easy look from 3. Just because it's easy doesn't, like it's easy to
Yeah.
get that look doesn't mean it's easy to make the shot.
Exactly.
Right? It's very simple. It's a lot easier to hit a layup than a 3-pointer, right? But you got to have the tenacity and the will to get that easier look on the inside. Don't just settle for a 3 because it's an easy shot to take.
Exactly. And
Right.
I swear they were put into bonus pretty early in the second half. Was it?
Yep.
So like, use that as to your advantage. You know, get those foul calls inside.
Kawhi was the only one going inside looking for fouls.
Exactly. Which is so weird because there's guys like even Siaka. I don't understand. He took so many 3s last night.
Yeah, he was virtually night and day different player than what he was game 1.
Yeah.
All right, Draymond Green said that's on me. He's going to be neutralized game 2. And Draymond Green,
So pissed at Draymond Green was right.
but Siakam, just to overview his night, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 of 18, 0 for 3 from deep. So he didn't take an abundance of 3s,
Yep.
but he had no chance to hit them. What he's got to do is start slashing and dashing by guys. That worked for him in game number 1. Game number 1, he was not splashing from outside.
I saw countless times to see Klay Thompson guarding him.
Yeah,
At
man.
that position, push him in the inside. You're a lot bigger.
Turn
and
your
stronger
back
than
to him.
Yeah.
And-
Not
and-
fucking take the 3. Like that's what Klay Thompson wants you to
Yeah.
do. He wants to guard you in the perimeter.
Golden
not on the
State
inside.
give them all the credit. They baited the Raptors into doing what they wanted them to do.
Exactly. Yeah, it's almost like
Right?
they control the fate.
And you said it seemed like they were letting the Raptors take those 3s. They were slacking off them.
Yeah.
They're daring them. Take those shots. We don't think you can hit them like you did in game
'Cause
1.
again, you're not gonna outshoot the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. And I saw a crazy stat. Fred VanVleet in the last 3 games, it's like a plus 10,
Yeah.
plus 12. Kyle Lowry's like almost a minus 30. So I think that goes to the defensive struggles. And we said it coming into the series. We thought Fred was going to be outmanned defensively. He's actually done a very good job. Steph has barely been able to score against him. Steph only had, 21 points last night? 23?
Yep.
But
And
Kyle
shot
Lowry, we said, even if you
30%
put
from
Kawhi
three-point.
on Steph, problem becomes, who the hell do you put Kyle Lowry on?
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason why he's fouling so much trying to take those charges is he's gassed. He can't chase these guys around, much like Chris Paul and James Harden had difficulty too. So when you get tired, you start making dumb decisions. Your legs go, and then your brain goes. Just like Anthony Joshua.
But what I was really confused about is countless times I saw Cousins going on the inside, and the only white shirt, I guess they're wearing white, right? The only white shirt I saw on the inside was Larry.
Were they wearing? I don't think they were wearing white.
What color? I for some reason I can't remember what color the jersey.
They were wearing red.
Okay, but again, the only defender I see on the inside is Larry.
Yeah.
You have Cousins going in, like it's like as much as we know Larry's good at guarding the bigger guys. He's easy to just throw just to post him up and just shoot right over him. You're not gonna be blocking that shot. Countless times we weren't talking about, we saw alley oops being tossed up, no problem. Literally the easiest alley oops you could see. You saw guys like Bogut. I don't even know how many points he finished with, 6, and all of those were alley oops probably.
Yeah. And where was Marc Gasol, who has been? You have praised him games.
Yeah.
I've ripped him games.
But even him,
but he's
I'm
the most
watching
inconsistent
and he's
player.
standing out closer to the perimeter, man. You're the big man on the team. Let everyone else worry about the shots.
Bogut had 6
You
points. It's
cover
3 for
the
3, all
inside.
alley oops.
Yeah.
Gasol, you were fantastic in game 1. Game 2, DeMarcus Cousins, makes you go back into your shell. You regress into the guy who's just setting a screen, standing at the 3-point line, and forget what helped you so much in game 1.
Exactly.
Game 1, he had 10 buckets inside the paint. Last night, 2 of 7. Then again, what did I say, Gasol? He averages 7 field goal attempts a game. The odd time if he finds something that works. But take a page out of DeMarcus's book. Go inside.
Exactly.
Is Nick Nurse telling you not to? Because then I like to talk to Nick Nurse.
Yeah.
But you're
He's
a
so-
center. Do
yeah.
your damn job.
He was so worried about helping on Curry. It worked that one time where Van Fleet got the steal. And I feel like after that one time it worked, he kept standing out there. He
I
kept
don't
waiting
think-
to do it again.
I don't think you need to double Steph as much as they're using Gasol
Especially
to
when
do
he's
it.
not the one having the best game.
Yeah? If he starts, getting on that Steph rhythm,
Yeah.
where he goes on that 4-minute run and
Exactly.
he hits 5 3-pointers, sure.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, but especially now with DeMarcus Cousins,
Yeah.
he's very smart. People think he's an idiot. He's very smart, even though he's a hothead. Because as soon as Gasol goes to that double to Steph, Cousins is just running to the inside for that easy
And again,
layup or
who's
dunk.
standing on the inside? Larry.
Just Kyle Lowry.
Exactly.
Because he came to help.
That's an easy basket.
Yep. And it wasn't just Cousins. It was Livingston. It was Draymond. And everybody says, oh, the Golden State shoots so many threes. Everybody forgets
Yeah.
they took the most 2-pointers in the NBA this season, over the second most. And it's
not
continued
looked
throughout
at.
the playoffs.
Yeah.
Let's look at their 3-point numbers yesterday. They didn't tear it up from deep.
Not at all.
Iguodala 2 for 4, Draymond Green 0 for 2, Cousins 1 of 3, and then Clay and Steph, okay, but Steph was only 3 of 10, Clay 4 of
Yeah.
6, and then the guy who
3
really
of
hurt
10,
you,
man.
the only guy who really hurt you was Quinn Cook, because he only had 9 points,
Where the fuck did Quinn
and
Cook
all
come from? I have
all,
no idea.
all 9 of his points were on 3-pointers, shot 3 of 5 from deep, didn't even attempt anything else. That's the only guy who hurt you from deep.
Yeah.
Besides that, and then it comes back to, when you're down against the Warriors, stop thinking you're going to outshoot them, and that's the only way to come back. Stop jacking up the threes. You saw Portland do it when they were down. Did it work for
18
Portland?
threes.
No. So why do you think it's going to work for you? Do you think the Raptors have shooters that are way better than Portland's? I would disagree. Maybe if Danny Green...
Especially when you have such a better inside game than Portland. Don't use the same fucking
Maybe if Danny
strategy.
Green was shooting his regular season 40.5% from the 3-point line, okay, and Fred VanVleet was consistent. Fred VanVleet, all right, had 17 points last night, was decent. But he was not, as the game before
No.
or before, was 7 of 17, only 2 of 8 from deep.
Again, like
So stop jacking up those dumb
numbers
shots.
don't tell the story of the game.
No.
You know, there's moments in the game that he was fucking up in. Okay, he had 17 points. Great, thank you. But near the end,
The one number
couldn't
that
come clutch
I will
for us.
always hold the most important in basketball is your percentages.
Exactly.
Is your field goal percentage and 3-point percentage,
So-
man. That almost tells the story of the game to me.
Explain what Raptors were doing with the box and one defense. To
Alright,
people
so-
who don't know what it is.
Steph Curry was talking about it after the game. He pretty much said it was whack and it's stupid. I've seen some analysts say it's not proper basketball. It's essentially, once Klay Thompson went out of the game,
Yep.
it's a one-dimensional offense. You got to stop Steph Curry and the support, right? So they go to a box and one. And basically what that becomes is you have your one-on-one defender. So whether it's Fred VanVleet or Kawhi Leonard on Stephen Curry, they're playing a man-to-man. Your other 4 guys are setting up a box. So one on down low on either side of the paint to the bucket, and then 2 a little bit higher by the elbow, top of the key. And that worked. They only ran it when Klay went out. So Klay went out with about 6 minutes left in the fourth.
Yeah.
And they stopped Golden State with about 6 minutes left. They're scoring 4 minutes left. Golden State really only got that Iguodala 3.
Yeah.
That was the only bucket they got in the last 2.5 minutes.
Exactly.
So if Klay Thompson is out game 3 and KD doesn't come back, and Steve Kerr said the only way KD is going to play in the game is if he has a practice before. So he's not going to practice today. He would have to practice on Tuesday and then play Wednesday. I think their defense is going to be sick. That box and one, we'll see what happens, but the one issue becomes the weak side. You can't lean off it too much, which we saw a couple times. Now, Golden State was missing those shots. Quinn Cook had a couple from out there. Didn't work out. Same with Iguodala and Livingston.
My only issue with the box and one was I feel like the box is too open. They're too pushed out more on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Leaving one guy to just cut on the inside, and you're fucked.
Yeah, that's where it's
You
susceptible.
just throw an alley-oop or just pass it to him.
It worked at the beginning for the Warriors to penetrate it. But then once it got to that 4 minutes, the Raptors got a little bit tighter. And then they really said, all right, we're forcing somebody else besides Steph Curry to take that 3-point shot. We're going to leave that weak side 3-point wide open.
Yeah.
Can somebody hit it? Or the deep too? And they didn't. And even, which I don't understand, there's times they hit it to the weak side. Raptors guy was running right by the guy because he's just taking one step to the side. And they're missing their open layups. So it was effective. It was kind of lucky. I think there's a place to use it next game, but only if Klay Thompson's not playing. Or if KD's not playing.
Yeah.
If both those guys are back, you can't want that type of zone.
Exactly, yeah.
It's similar how they ran their 2-3 zone against Milwaukee. Well, you only really zone works when you keen on one guy. Right? And Giannis, it was you put in the 3 down low because he's always trying to drive to the hoop.
Exactly.
So I think people who are calling it stupid are stupid in their minds because they don't understand what Nick Nurse is trying to do. And it was actually very effective.
And
so
hey, again,
kudos to Nick Nurse there for thinking outside the
they
box.
adjusted. You know?
They adjusted.
They just keep doing the same thing.
He hasn't adjusted on offense, but he's adjusting in other places. So I'll give him that credit.
What was the stat again you said with Kawhi Leonard from the free throw line?
He's 26 of 28 for the series through 2 games.
You see? Like, I know you were talking about his field goal percentage was bad and stuff for the first 2 games. But, like, further on for the next few games, I feel like it's going to go up. And I feel like that stat right there with the free throws is going to open up a lot of things for him. They realize you can't keep sending him to the line because he's almost... Last night he drained every single free throw.
Yeah, but if you foul
16 of 16, man. That's 16 points you gave for free.
But would you rather foul Kawhi when he's going to have an open layup and then he just gets his 2, or just
gets his 2,
right? Just keep smothering him, then he's kicking out to a guy for 3 like what's happening first game.
What I feel like is going to happen, I feel like they're going to start giving him a little bit more space because they're like, okay, we can't keep sending this guy to the line. Ease up a bit on him.
I don't think they're going to change their defense at all
like they are.
going to game 3.
And I feel like it's going to open up a lot more opportunities. You're gonna see
most
Kawhi
coaches
going
don't
off
change
a
a
lot
winning
more
formula, a winning game set. I think they're probably going to come up with the similar looks. And I think if you ask Nick Nurse, would you be comfortable heading in game 3, 4, 5 with getting the same looks? Sure, they took too many 3-pointers, but getting the same looks you got last night. He would say, yeah, we did some good things on offense, just couldn't hit a fucking shot.
Exactly. But, as Drake said at the beginning of our video, you squeezed that one out.
You squeezed that one out.
That was not a comfortable win.
So, the Raptors held Golden State to the same amount of points. 109, 109.
Both games.
The difference was just the second half going in a historically terrible slump to start the second half. And then when the game was within your grasp, Kawhi goes 1 of 6 in the fourth, and everybody else goes 0 of everything with the last 4 minutes until Danny Green hits that 3 after DeMarcus Cousins. And let's be realistic. They squeezed it out, but the only reason it was even close was because DeMarcus Cousins is a moron. If he didn't take that tech,
but again,
then it's a 3-point game when Danny Green hits the shot.
I talked about this before the series even started. It's pretty easy to get that guy to get into that position where he's getting texts and stuff and getting angry and frustrated.
It's in his genetics.
It literally
it's in his DNA. He can't help it.
Push those buttons, please. If you're the Raptors, push those buttons. Make them frustrated. Fuck, it works. It gets you a tech and got them 3 baskets. 3
He's a-
points right there.
He's the guy you have to attack. Anything else you want to round off the Raptors talk with?
What do you think Raptors have to do to take one in Oracle?
Your energy's got to be way higher on the defensive end, right? Even though you held them to the same amount of points.
I feel like they played great D both games.
For the majority, but when
Yeah.
they were going on those runs to start the third, which you know was going to
It's
happen,
just,
the defense was
Yeah.
lazy, and just not thinking as quick as they needed to.
And it
Their
kinda
switches were slow.
screwed them because you couldn't rest Kawhi in that third. Because you didn't want the lead to get even
Yeah.
bigger.
And now the one thing
So you had to rest him for the fourth.
you heard me screaming all last night, they were switching way too easy on defense.
Yeah.
They were giving Golden State the mismatches. Fight through those screens, and then even after they would switch, all right. So Fred VanVleet ends up on Draymond, and then you have was it Serge on Steph. You don't want that. Steph's going around, and then
Too quick.
VanVleet can't handle Green.
No, we're close.
The ball gets swung to the corner. Klay Thompson has it. If I'm either of those guys, I'm yelling at the other, switch back, switch back. Nope, they're just standing there. They give their guy about 5 feet of space. Ball comes back to Steph. Dirk's Ibaka, whoever was on him, and drains it. Why are you waiting for them to take advantage of that mismatch?
Exactly.
It's just think quicker, be more into the game. All right? And that's really the biggest thing on offense. Attack the hole. Drive for the purpose of kicking it out. That's what Kawhi did so much in game 1. He got away from it. Kyle Lowry got away from it. Everybody got away from it.
Yeah.
And Serge Ibaka, if Marc Gasol is as bad as he was in game 1, as in game 2, in game 3, we need something from you. Need something. You're quicker than Boogie Cousins too. You can go around them. Make a play on the ball. Stop giving me your damn hesitation when you get the ball because you don't know what to do.
I know, yeah.
Think
It's
about what
kinda
you're gonna do
scary
before you
sometimes,
move.
know, yeah, he keeps like.
He's just
hesitating,
shaking.
he
He's
looks
got
around,
the
he has no idea
start.
what
He's
to
like he's
do.
got the shakes. He's coming off a high.
Got the jitters, yeah.
Oh
likely,
my
do you
God.
think it is that Klay doesn't play game 3?
How crucial it is?
Not how likely.
I think it's more likely than people think, man.
Yeah. I know he says he's fine, but as Kerr said, he'll say fine. He's fine even if he's about to die.
He said if he's half dead, he'll still say he's fine. And he tore his hamstring. And he even said to Drake, he goes, "You got lucky. I popped my hamstring." So obviously he's got a severe hamstring injury.
Yep.
Klay said it wasn't as bad as the high ankle sprain that he suffered last year in the finals that he played through. But even if he plays, he's going to be hobbled and limited. Right? His shot's not going to be the same. He's going to be even worse off the dribble. He's not going to be able to run off the ball as well as he does either. So it bodes well for the Raps, gives them a chance. You never wish injury upon anyone. But we everybody knew coming into the season, the only way a team could beat Golden State is if they ran into injury problems. And this is why it's so hard to get to 5 straight NBA finals, even 4 straight, and to win 3 straight NBA finals. The only teams who won 3 straight, obviously the Celtics, Lakers back in the day.
Yeah.
LeBron, Boston couldn't do it. LeBron couldn't do it in Miami, right?
Nope.
It's the minutes and the toll. You get a shorter off season. Instead of an 82-game season, it becomes a 105-game season. So now you're playing 500 games in 5 seasons as opposed to 380,
Exactly.
right? And takes a toll, and it always adds
Especially
up.
the intensity of the games, man.
You see, and you see the same thing with hockey, right? Teams who Blackhawks, Penguins kept going on those runs, playing the Olympics a lot of minutes. Then it comes to a year where just the bodies start to break down, and you need a break. It's human nature. You can't argue it.
Well, if he does get a break and KD doesn't come back game 3,
KD doesn't come back game 3, and Klay's hobbled or doesn't play, the Raptors need to win game 3. If you lose that game, the series is over.
yeah,
Even if Klay plays next game, KD doesn't play. If you lose, you're pretty much done. Do you think they can lose game 3 in Oracle and then win game 4?
possibly, depending on I don't know when KD's looking at coming back.
Well, I think they bought themselves some time for KD by tying it 1-1. But by game 4, I think the problem is with the 2 days off between games. It's almost like the NBA wants KD to come back.
Yeah,
Or they're spacing it out.
but he hasn't. They were talking last night. They're saying he's unlikely for game 3.
Yeah, because he hasn't practiced
When
yet.
is this? Yeah, when is this practice gonna come in?
Gray just said he needs 1 full practice. So, but I don't think
Same with Klay.
I don't think he's coming back later than game 5 at the latest.
Yeah.
To me, game 4, if Raptors win game 3, he's gonna push very hard to come back
That's
game
also
4.
why I didn't want fucking Drake to start trolling KD. You don't want to speed this guy's recovery up, man.
No,
you don't want to
speed it up so he can re-injure it.
Yeah, but you
Let him push it in the gym.
I don't want him coming back sooner than he has to. You know, I
So
don't want to see.
Hey,
KD on that
maybe
court.
Drake realized that too. He took the sweater off sometime in the second half. Did you see that? He switched to the simple "We the North"
Oh,
sweater.
did he? Okay, thank God.
Yeah, because nobody noticed till after the game. He's walking out and
Yeah.
the logo's gone off the back. People thought he just took that. Like it was a sticker on his sweater or something. Took it off, but no, he switched sweaters completely.
Once they say KD is available to play for the upcoming game, my heart's gonna drop.
I think Toronto and Canada's hearts are gonna drop, but it doesn't mean
It doesn't
the
mean
end of the
for
world.
Sure
it just means you need a lot of things to go your way, and you have to play perfect basketball if
Shit's
KD
gonna get
comes
a lot
back.
harder once he comes on.
All right,
Well,
let's transition.
there's more Toronto news going on.
It's the offseason
You
for the
really
Leafs.
want to get into it?
Well,
Leafs?
I've been reading a lot about it, listening a lot about it the last couple days. A lot of rumors been flying around. Stuff's been coming out. I got some sources who've been telling me some interesting stuff as well. So, you want to get to Leafs or what?
Let's get over it.
All right.
Who do you want to start with?
Let's start with
Marleau.
Marleau.
All right. How likely you think is it for him to be traded? I know they're talking about Kings or Coyotes.
I would put it at a 60% chance. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
it's a foregone conclusion that he's gone or a done deal.
Which team would you say is more likely though to
Coyotes.
pick him up?
Just for cap reasons. So the NHL, if you're unaware, has a rule about the cap minimum. You have to spend a minimum to play to run a team in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
Right? Coyotes are kind of far from that floor that you have to be at. So for them, it's not like the Kings. The Kings, if they take Marleau, yeah, they have $11 million in cap space right now. They run into big cap problems next year and the year moving forward. So they're probably going to have to send a contract back to the Leafs. Now, for the Leafs, if you hit $6 million, but you take back $4 million, it's not that big of a... You free up $2 million, so I guess that's cool, but it's not that good. Where the Coyotes, you might have a chance where you can say, hey, we'll give you Marleau and a third or fourth round pick.
Yeah.
And they might actually just eat the contract. Now, another possibility, which I would love to talk to somebody who knows the ins and outs of the CBA and see if it's possible, which I think it is get a third team involved, like a Carolina. Carolina's got to re-sign Sebastian Aho, but they're still going to be struggling to hit the cap floor. They sold all their players.
Yeah.
So get the third team involved. Basically just, Leafs send Marleau to
Let's get them in the
Carolina,
mix.
right? They retain, because NHL you're allowed to retain salary of a player. If they retain 30 to 50% of Marleau's contract, and then flip him to the Kings, if the Kings want him. And then Carolina gets the benefit of they get cap on their books, so they get closer to the floor, but they don't have to pay this loser who's only going to get 15 goals. And then the Kings get the player they want. And now for me, it's why do the Kings want him besides Todd McClellan, who coached him in San Jose,
Yeah.
is now the Kings coach. But if anybody's watched this guy over the last season of hockey, he has very minimal value left, and especially at $6.2 million.
What's it? How old is he?
Close to 40, 38, 39.
Fuck yeah.
And the thing is, when the Leafs signed him, everybody said, oh, but he can still skate. He can't skate anymore. And everybody says,
Can't skate anymore.
it's known the reason why he signed with the Leafs
Yeah.
is because we're the only team that offered him a 3-year deal as opposed to a 2-year deal, and we gave him a no-trade clause. And now both those things,
I was gonna get into the no
yeah, so
trade.
he's got to accept the trade. That's why everything is coming close to where he's got his San Jose house. LA, Phoenix, back to West Coast where he might accept the trade and be comfortable. LA, he liked Todd McClellan, his old coach.
With Arizona, how likely is it for him to accept that trade?
Even LA, I don't know. It's got to be, does he want to relocate his kids twice in 3 years?
LA wouldn't be a bad option for me.
Oh, well, yeah.
I would relocate there.
But the thing is, even if you live in LA, you're 2.5 hours away from San Jose. It's not like you can live in your San Jose house and then play in LA. You're selling your Toronto house, and you probably might keep your San Jose house if you want to keep
have
that
your
house.
family out there. Have like a side place in LA.
Yeah, but what he could do is move his family back to San Jose. He lives in LA. You can still see them on off days and
Exactly, yeah.
stuff, right? But 2.5 hour commute is not light.
It's
Oh, let
not-
me just swing by for dinner, honey. See you in 2.5 hours.
Hey,
That's
you're
tough.
fucking commuting in like a Lamborghini or something. I wouldn't mind.
Just fly.
Yeah.
Or, Red Bull swing us a sponsor. Maybe swing Marleau's sponsor. He'll be flying. He'll get some wings.
And there you go. You'll fly right over. Anything else you got to say about Marleau though?
No, I mean, Kyle Dubas has got a big job ahead of him. If he can trade Patrick Marleau,
Yeah.
fantastic. But if he can't take cap back, everybody says he's going to take a roster from LA. Well, what's the point then? If it's a $3 million, sure, at least you clear $3 million. If you're going to take $4 to $5 million back in salary, you cleared $1 million. And then, is it worth taking out a veteran who all the players like? Matthews spent Christmas with Marleau. Matthews and Marner are both very close to the Marleau family. If you're only clearing $1 million to $2 million, is it worth disrupting the locker room? If you can clear 3, 4, 5, even 6, then yes. But for $1 to $2 million, is it worth taking out a veteran who's a big leader with those guys?
Hey, if he ain't winning you the games, why have him really there? I know he have a relationship, but sometimes you gotta get past those things.
I agree, but he helps show those guys professionalism, what it takes to win, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody talks about veteran
Pro.
leadership. The biggest thing about veteran leadership is showing you what it takes to win. Not that he's ever won a cup, but that San Jose, they got so close this year, man. I feel bad for that organization. Almost as bad as the Leafs. But I think that's all we got to say about Patrick Marleau. But his situation is linked to the next guys.
Are you talking about Nikita
Zaitsev.
putting his house up for sale?
Yeah, so I got a little
Did you ask
insider
him
info
for
a
it?
few weeks ago. So Nikita Zaitsev only asked for the trade, as we know it, about a week ago, citing personal reasons. His house went for sale in Toronto 3 weeks ago. So one of two possibilities. One, he knew he was going to do this for a long time and thinking about it.
Personal reasons. He's probably been thinking about it forever.
Or number two, he asked the Leafs like a long time ago and put his house for sale, and it just got leaked to the media. The media was slow to it. The reporters had no idea it was coming. But the most interesting thing for me, what I kept thinking is, what is his reasoning? If it's personal reasons, like, did you want to move back to Russia? Well, then you would ask to void your contract. Were you unhappy with Mike Babcock? Are you unhappy with how the fans and the media constantly attack you and see how bad your contract is? 5 years left to $4.5 million. He does an interview with a Russian paper, and the translation comes to, he's mad with his usage. Essentially, he wants to be using the offensive zone more. He's top 4 defenseman, gets 18 to 22 minutes a night. I cannot stress enough. Even his first year was okay offensively, but it's not like he tore it up. This guy struggles to even make a first pass out of his own end. And he said that he feels he should be more exposed offensively. He's only on the ice for defensive zone faceoffs, and as soon as the puck goes to the offensive end, he's asked to change. Well, contribute something offensively before you get offensive ice time. Like, let me pull up this guy's numbers, even from his first year, when this guy thinks...
But would you want a guy like that on the team then? A guy who's more worried about himself than the team?
No.
And winning games?
He's only concerned about his own numbers.
Exactly.
And even that first year, you had 36 points. It's not like you ripped the damn cover off the book. You had 8 goals and 18 assists. Oh, sorry. That was in Russia. 4 goals, 32 assists. 4 goals. I don't even know if this guy can hit the net when he shoots. Every time it seems when he's got a point shot or off the rush, it goes wide.
So where does this whole him wanting to be more used in the offensive?
I don't know. In the last season, in 60 games, he had 13 points. This season, 81 games, 14 points. Like, it's not like Mike Babcock is calling you off. You go on for the offense's own faceoffs, you're on 5 second, and get off. You're having 5 second shifts. It's just not happening. So whether it's him or his agent telling him inside his head that he's worth more and not being used, it just boggles my mind. This guy thinks that he's an offensive threat and should have, like, maybe he thinks he should be playing the power play.
But then again, I would want a guy like that off the team.
Yeah.
Be worried about winning and, like, you know, what's best for the team, not what's best for yourself.
But now there's a bigger issue as a whole here, right? So everybody says his contract is garbage. I think throughout the playoffs when he got paired with Jake Muzzin, if he's playing second pairing at $4.5 million, that's pretty good value if he can be your shutdown pairing. And then you're losing Jake Gardner. That's pretty much a foregone conclusion. But if you trade Zaitsev, maybe you can use that money for Jake and come to a hometown discount. But the way your defense is set up right now, you're going to have the minimum 3 rookies coming up from the AHL. Callie Rosen, Roy Rasmus Sandin, maybe Liljegren, Justin Hall, a couple other guys. So you have 3 spots to fill because Ron Hainsey's out too. If you trade Zaitsev, the only defensemen under contract for this coming season are going to be Morgan Riley and Jake Muzzin. Do you want to bring in 4 young defensemen who have no NHL experience for a team that everybody thinks should be competing for a Stanley Cup? It's not feasible. So everybody wants to ship Nikita Zaitsev off for financial reasons, but and also they're like, they're like, oh, we can re-sign Marner, give him more money that he wants. No, those are 2 different things. If you get rid of Zaitsev, you cannot use that money for Mitch Marner. That money has to go back into your defensive corps, whether it's re-signing Jake Gardner or bringing in a free agent. But the problem is, there is no free agent defenseman that I want to add to this team this year. There is nobody out there. Jacob Trouba's an RFA, but you're gonna have to give up draft picks to Winnipeg if you want him. Do you really want to do that?
There's no young guys you think they can bring up?
But Callie
strong
Rosen can
defenders.
step in. He's a little bit older playing in the AHL.
Yeah.
Rasmus Sandin, from what I've heard, people think he could play, but he's still too young, makes mistakes, and he doesn't have the mental toughness to play in the Leaf system. And what we saw,
Start 'em up early.
I saw Gino Ratto making a great point today. Is it that these guys are ready and therefore you're calling them up, or is it that you need somebody to fill that void, and whether they're ready or not, you need them to be ready, you're going to call them up? And is that fair to the guy? If he's not ready to play in the National Hockey League, if a guy's in the G League in basketball,
Yeah.
and you just call him up and he's not ready, then you're hampering his development. And you're screwing your own team over. So are these kids actually ready, or is it just Dubas is maybe going to make a couple mistakes and force these kids in the lineup,
Fold under pressure.
right?
So what do
So-
you want to see happen with him then? Zaitsev.
You have two options. If you're trading Zaitsev, you have to re-sign Jake Gardner.
But don't you like when a guy's asking, like he's almost asking for a trade. Don't you got to trade him at that point because he's not good
Essentially,
for the
because
team.
it's hard to walk that back.
Exactly.
You want to leave our market, the Leafs fans are going to eat you up if you end up staying here. So that's fine. If you trade Nikita Zaitsev, unless you're getting a defenseman back,
Yeah.
which we'll see. I don't know who's going to take him and give you a serviceable defenseman back. If you trade him, I'm re-signing Jake Gardner because, like I said, he's pretty much the best defensive free agent that you can go after. I think there's one top dog name I can't remember off the top of my head. Bring back Jake Gardner, probably around $5 million. I don't think he's going to get the 6 that people think he deserves. And then re-sign Ron Hainsey, 1-year deal, $2 million, 2.5, and then bring up 2 young guys as opposed to potentially 4. Callie Rosen, and whether it's Justin Hall, it's another veteran. Maybe you find somewhere else in a small deal, 6 defensemen, or if Sandin, maybe you have 2 or 3 guys who audition for the last spot. If you trade Zaitsev and you don't sign Gardner and don't sign Hainsey, man, this team's gonna be nowhere near what they were this past
Exactly.
season.
And we always say defense wins championships. If you ain't got a defense
In the
you
playoffs,
ain't got a
in the
chance.
regular season, the Leafs just went and outscored everybody. What happened in the playoffs?
Exactly.
Couldn't keep the puck out of their own net and couldn't score because it gets way harder. And like
Playoffs
you
this
said,
season,
everything
two
gets
different
tighter.
beasts.
Everything gets
Exactly.
tighter in the playoffs. Only
Two
guy who
different
performed for the
beasts,
Leafs
bro.
was Austin Matthews. Nobody else really on offense showed up.
Well, Marner did first game.
One game.
Yeah.
Kudos to him.
And he took those shots.
Yeah.
Those
Now-
blocks.
Do you want to talk about that tidbit I heard about Mitch Marner's dad?
How credible is this source?
So I'm not gonna say like it's to be concluded. This is what happens.
Just mention it
What happened?
just in case if we hear it
Yeah.
again somewhere else,
But-
we can say we said it first.
It's been rumored around there that Mitch Marner has a
Papa's getting
helicopter father. People were saying the same thing of
Helicopter father.
helicopter dad. He's like hovering above you the whole time.
It's good.
A lot of people thought that William Nylander's dad was involved in the free agency situation last year.
Yep.
I didn't buy a whole lot into that. I thought I was maybe more his agent. Apparently, Mitch Marner's dad is so involved. This comes from a source who's in the hockey equipment industry. Not from True Hockey. That's what everybody's going to be thinking. His main sponsorship. That's why I'm saying take it with a grain of salt. Because I don't know how connected this guy could be. Nobody could double source this for me or fact check it. There's nobody else who said they'd heard this story. But supposedly, Mitch Marner's dad last season was texting Babcock during games, complaining about power play time when his son was put on the 4th line
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And it got to a point.
Was the coach responding though, or was he just reading them and just?
No, so the guy didn't want to get it. When I started asking him questions, the guy could realize that what I was doing and didn't want to be, put in that situation.
You're in reporter mode.
Yeah.
at that point?
What are you in reporter mode? So it got to the point where Mike Babcock was so infuriated and couldn't get this to stop. Like he had talked to Mitch and Mitch just said, it's not my business. Mike Babcock went out and changed his phone number and got a new phone to avoid his dad. Now the reason why I say take this with a grain of salt is one, because it's not True Hockey, the company that has all the involvement with him. And number 2, I'm sure Mitch would say, all right, Pops, cool down.
Yeah.
And really, if he
I was gonna say, can't the coach have that discussion with the player?
maybe he doesn't want to get involved too much. Babcock with Mitch doesn't want to get in his head mid-season.
again,
But also, when he changes his number, Mitch Marner is going to get Mike Babcock's new number. And what's stopping him from forwarding that number to his dad? But now, everybody says Mitch Marner's dad is another Eric Lindros's dad, was very similar. And they say he's Lindros's dad 2.0. And that he might be pushing that, he wants 11, 12. He's better than Austin Matthews type money. So I just think it comes down to Mitch in the odd chance that somebody shows you this clip, just be your own man. It came down to Willie last year. He was about to miss the whole season. 2 hours before the deadline, we had to sign in December. He picked up the phone and called Dubas himself, or had his agent call, and he talked. He says, listen, you want to get a deal done? This is what I'll do. So just as much as your agent's there to advise you and your parents want to look out for you the best, do you want to be in Toronto and do you want to win?
Yeah.
Because what you deserve isn't always what you get in life. All right? Do you deserve 11? I don't think so, but you can make the case that Mitch Martin deserves 11. But you take away the opportunity for the Leafs to win. It's not possible. All right? Look at the teams that are in the Stanley Cup Finals right now.
Yeah.
Boston's highest paid player, I think, is Bergeron. He's just under $8 million. All right. St. Louis, I believe it's Ryan O'Reilly. He's in the 7s. Out of the final 4 teams, the highest paid was Brent Burns at $8 million. Nobody at 9, 10, 11, or 12 on either of those teams. So they built deep teams, depth. The Leafs have Matthews at 11.5 starting this year. Tavares at 11. And if you give Marner 11, are you kidding me? Chicago, after winning 3 Stanley Cups, gave Kane and Taves 10.5 each.
Yeah.
And then they had to sell everybody else, and they haven't made the playoffs only once or twice since then. In the last 4 years since they did that.
Exactly. In the
So
long run, that could fuck you.
If Chicago can't win with 2 guys at 10.5, how are the Leafs gonna win with 3 guys making 11 plus? Not possible. So Mitch, do you want to win or not?
Exactly.
If you just give us your money, we're taking the 4 first-round draft picks, and we'll see you next year.
Well, that's the issue you see in sports, man. The dad that's around too much.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
Like, I know the parents want to look best out for the children, but they're
It's his
grown-ups,
career at
man.
the end of the
it's
day.
Like, yeah, let him decide.
he's 20. I think he's a year younger than us. He's 21 years old.
Yeah.
Let this man handle his business.
And if this is true, how many teams are really gonna want him? If hearing this, how involved the dad is, you know, they don't want that kind of drama in their
Lonzo
locker room.
Ball,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
A lot of teams said we don't want to touch him because of LeVar. Now LeVar's
Exactly.
chilled out since his son has been terrible, but
And
it's a factor. Whether it's minor hockey or
100%.
professional hockey, professional sports, no coach wants to be badgered by a parent who thinks they know how to do their job better than the guy who's getting paid. Mike Babcock,
Exactly.
$6 million to
Again,
coach a team.
That's childish shit. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want to be dealing with someone's parents when you're freaking playing for you're playing in the playoffs in the like you're trying to get to a Stanley Cup championship and you're dealing with someone's parents.
And your dad is allegedly
someone's
texting
dad
your
is
head
harassing
coach.
you. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh man,
Harass someone else, man.
like for Mike Babcock, that's a tough situation to be in.
If
I'd like
he
to
is
know
in
how
that
he handled it.
situation,
I would
yeah.
love to ask him that question
One day.
one day.
Get
I'll
it.
try and get some more info on that
Or
story
replace
and
this
nail it
TV
down.
with Babcock.
One day it'll happen. If you guys hit subscribe,
Yeah,
like
please.
us on Instagram, share the page.
I see
Some-
you guys watching and you don't subscribe.
Honestly, hit the subscribe. And on Instagram, when we post a clip, it's shared like 30 times. I can see it with the
Reaches
business insights.
100, but we don't have 100.
It's like reaches 200 people and 35 people sent this post to somebody else. What? Who's sending this stuff? And who's watching? Hit the follow, hit subscribe. I don't think. All right. Finish off with the heavyweight bout. Went down Saturday.
Heavyweight upset.
That's
Literally
the best.
ruined.
That is the best
the
description I've heard of the fight.
heavyweight picture. Yeah.
It did. To an extent, though.
I don't know. It was literally the thing I was worried about because I said this before the fight. I'm like, if there is going to be an upset, it's coming in this fight. Joshua needs to take this as serious as he's taken any fight in his whole career, and he thought it was gonna be easy. It showed he was doing it perfect. First 3 rounds, exactly.
So what round did it end in?
it?
7th?
I think it was 5th. No,
6th? No, it was not 5th.
or 6th maybe.
We had some beers in us, but I'll find it. You keep talking.
But he was doing it perfect. It's exactly. I was even saying it as the fight was going. For first 2-3 rounds, you throw the jab, you keep feeling him out with that jab, you turn it over to a hook, and it was landing on Ruiz every single time.
7th round TKO.
7th round. Okay, I guess he had how many rounds? So he had like 3 rounds to recover. He still
Yep.
never recovered.
Didn't. I said during the fight.
That's the shot.
I
That's
said right
crazy.
now he's living for the time between rounds after
Yeah.
that 4th, 5th
And
round.
he was fatiguing in that fight. Like, I didn't understand. After he got dropped those few times in the 3rd round, he came into the 4th, 5th. He was taking body shots and just had both. Like, he had his left hand completely down,
I had
his
asked
right
you.
hand right on his cheek,
Yeah.
and just walking around the ring like he's just like, you're the champ, man. Like,
I had asked you in
you
the
don't
4th or 5th
see
round.
fucking. Like, if you want, like, he keeps talking about himself, like, he wants to be in the stature of, like, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, even fucking Deontay Wilder. as much as
Hey,
bad
Rome
as
was not built overnight.
exactly as bad as Deontay Wilder's technique is, you can't count out the man's heart. The guy has countless times been in fights where he's getting his ass beat and he somehow finds a way to win.
Who was that? Ruiz?
Deontay Wilder.
Oh, Deontay Wilder. Now,
This is where I didn't see that from Joshua. After he got dropped
Yeah.
those few times in the third round, virtually it looked like almost Ruiz was
Has he ever
defending his
been-
title.
now I saw some commentators, analysts talking
Yeah.
about how in his previous fights he has been in that situation where he's gotten dropped, hit
When
once
he
or
fought
twice,
Klitschko, he got dropped, got back up and finished the
got
fight.
back up. So he dropped Klitschko, then Klitschko dropped him. Exactly how this fight happened. But then he got up and finished off Klitschko.
But you know
Why
what-
couldn't he do that to Ruiz?
You know where that came? So before that fight even occurred, this is when he was in the amateurs. He sparred with Klitschko. He knew, like, Klitschko was, like, top dog. He was the best heavyweight in that era.
and he
And he knew how
didn't
tough
care.
that fight was going to be, so he knew he needed heart for that fight. He knew if adversary's going to hit me at some point in that fight, and I'm going to need to fight back from something. In this fight, I felt like he came in thinking, I'm going to finish this guy off, make it devastating. People are going to be talking about me against Wilder. And as soon as adversity hit him in that fight, I felt he was not ready for it, and it showed because he could not come back from it. He got dropped in the third round and got finished in the seventh.
So you
You
think
know, like, what heavyweight champion? You had rounds to recover. He kept saying at the after the fight, I couldn't recover. You had the rounds to recover. Your corner was telling you exactly what to do, and you chose not to do it. You kept stepping in with your 1-2 and thinking that you can knock this shorter guy out.
wow.
I don't know, man. I felt like he wasn't prepared for that kind of fight. That's what it looked like to me. And
So-
you should have been, because you knew Andy Ruiz was a tough guy coming into the fight.
Do you think it was a trap fight? Like often we say basketball, hockey, there's a trap game where maybe you're looking to, all right, so the Raptors are playing Houston Rockets in 4 days, but the next day they're playing the Orlando Magic, and they're just thinking about that Houston game. So they're not really thinking about Magic, and you end up losing that fight
That's
because
exactly what I
that
thought
game
I
because
felt,
you're too worried
'cause
about.
even before the fight, all they kept talking about is who he's gonna fight next.
Yeah. So
I said don't write off Ruiz, don't write him off, because if anyone's gonna pull the upset, he's gonna do it.
so
And he did.
essentially looked like Joshua just took everything way too easy, right?
Yep.
And fell flat on his face. Now,
Confusing enough though, because I said this when you asked me, would you put your money on Ruiz winning the fight? Because I said Ruiz could pull the upset, and I said no, because I was watching these interviews and Joshua convinced me that he knew this was gonna be a tough fight. However, fight day came and he clearly had no idea how tough this was gonna be.
okay, so correct me if I'm wrong though. There is a rematch clause
Yeah.
in this contract, which
Almost every heavyweight championship, any championship fight.
now
has a
is
rematch
it
clause.
for both sides can ask for a rematch or just the
No,
title
no.
holder?
It's the title holder.
If
So
he
the
gets
title,
upset.
so in the contract is Ruiz, you get to fight Joshua. If you do win the fight, you got to give him the rematch if he asks for it.
Okay,
But if he beats Ruiz, Ruiz has no right to ask for a rematch. He could ask for it, but it's not gonna happen.
so I don't know, how often do boxers fight? Like what's a reasonable timeline between fights for Anthony Joshua?
Joshua, probably two, maybe 3 a year. So if he
A
a year, bro, they already his promoter Eddie Hearn already talked about it after, saying if they do fight, he thinks, like, because he knows Joshua would come back for like a September fight, but he thinks it wouldn't be possible to make it not until like November.
Okay, that's not a year. We're in May.
No, but I'm saying this.
Sorry,
He's
June.
only fought once this year so far. So the year
Yeah,
would
that'd be
end.
6 months from now.
No, but I mean, like, that year would end off with him only fighting twice a year.
Yeah, I thought you said a year between fights.
No. He fights 2 to 3 times a year.
Really? So then that's not the end of the world. You were so upset because you wanted to see Joshua versus Wilder.
Yep.
And you thought the only way that would happen.
Well, I thought that's literally the fight they it was there to make for fucking probably 2 years now.
Okay, but it's not gone yet. If they do this rematch, September to November, even December, 6 months from now, and then after that Joshua wins, gets all of his belts back, you schedule 6 months from then, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua.
Like, I know styles make fights and shit, but imagine Deontay Wilder hit him with those shots.
Oh, he's fucked.
Ruiz does not hit nearly as hard as Wilder. Like, not even close. Like, that was, like, Ruiz usually TKOs guys. I've never seen him drop someone that many times. Never. I've never seen him. Like, he's a great fighter. He's so quick. How he usually wins is with his combinations, counter punching. He was dropping Joshua with every shot that he landed.
So,
Like that, it almost exposed him. People don't. It's not. There's no excitement for that Wilder fight anymore. Wilder even said he's fighting Luis Ortiz next, a guy he already beat, but he faced adversity and there's some controversy in it, so he wants to fight him again to end it. And he said after that fight, I'm going for Tyson Fury too, who he had a draw with in the first fight.
Tyson Fury looks like a
Already-
scary motherfucker to me, man.
Tyson Fury?
That big white guy.
Yeah, he is.
Dude,
but
I was googling some images. I'm like, I think he would eat Joshua for breakfast and would eat me for appetizer.
bro, again, I thought Joshua could beat both of those guys. Wilder.
Here's
I don't think he has a chance against either.
That's why when I was posting that Instagram post of you saying you predicted this, I asked, is Joshua who we thought he was? I think this showed us. But how much do you put in stock as, okay, he's not who we thought he was and he just took this fight way too easy and was not even paying attention?
There's been talk about it.
What's the split? What's the split? It can't be both ways. Is it both ways or is it one way?
What?
Is it that he's not who he thought he was? He's not the guy who can fight Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, and he's actually, the best heavyweight fighter? Is he just not that what we thought he was? Or is it that he just took that fight too easy and just whatever? He'll fight him next to him and kick his ass and then be ready.
He's not who he thought he was.
All right.
Because
So then don't talk about he took Ruiz easy. Then don't talk about that then.
No.
I'm just saying he's not who he thought he was and he's done.
As I said, he talked about before the fight saying how hard of a fight this is gonna be. But I'm just saying, from watching it, I've never seen a heavyweight champion act like that in a fight. He was getting dropped, and he'd look over the corner and smile and shit. Did you see that? He was pointing at people in the audience, smiling and shit.
Yeah,
You're getting your ass beat in a fight.
That's why I don't think it's that, he's not who we thought he was so much. It was a trap fight for him.
No,
and
man.
I put some fault in his promoter.
When you look at...
First of all, tell me, Jarrell Miller, how much better is Jarrell Miller than Andy Ruiz?
I can tell you right now, Jarrell Miller hits like a fucking truck.
Okay, so Jarrell Miller has won his last 7 fights. Anthony Joshua's getting ready for war against Jarrell Miller.
Yep.
And then that guy gets caught for all the PEDs. He gets thrown this little fat boy, Andy Ruiz, takes him light as shit, gets his ass kicked because he's not prepared.
Yep.
How does that mean that
does not,
he's not who he thought he was? He has no chance against anybody now.
Listen, once they gave Ruiz, a lot of people were saying his promoter, Eddie Hearn, fucked up. Because he gave him a guy almost that fights the same as Jarrell Miller, but is way quicker. And is a freaking counter fighter.
His promoter's a damn idiot. The guy looks like a loser, first of all, when they're interviewing him after.
Bro, you don't understand how much hate this guy gets. Eddie Hearn. This guy had a fighter.
So hold on. If everybody hates him, how does he end up with the client who's literally the face of the future of boxing?
He's able to get them the money. He's getting Joshua paid like $30 million a fight, while these other guys are getting paid $1 million or $2 million.
Wow.
This is why I'm saying this whole Deontay Wilder fight has been fucked up for 2 years because of him. He constantly sends Wilder saying so Joshua will get paid about 30-40 million, and then whatever fight generates, he would get 70% of him. Wilder would be getting 30.
That's even what.
So that's like almost saying Wilder is just like, we're giving you an opportunity, when he is the champ as well. Like, you guys are unifying for the belts. So it has to be
they each have that's the thing about boxing, right?
That's all Deontay was asking for. 50-50 split.
It's not UFC where it's one guy has a belt and one guy's a contender.
There's no organization,
right?
yeah.
It's they each got 3 or 4 belts and the winner's gonna get 7, but you're both pretty even killed, right? And that is even what Joshua hinted at in not so many words on the Breakfast Club interview.
Yeah.
He said, between me, my promoter, and their side, we kind of both, messed shit up in making this fight happen.
It was I'm telling you, it was all on Joshua's side, because every time they brought up Eddie Hearn into the conversation, I know what a weasel he is. He always wants, because he wants it set up that if Joshua does lose that fight, he ends up in the better side, because he got paid way more than Deontay Wilder did. Even though Deontay Wilder has all the belts now, won the fight, has the credibility now of being the best heavyweight, Joshua's more set.
I will say this though, from a guy who's not a big, boxing fan.
Yep.
I watch the big fights, right? I think Joshua is more marketable than Deontay Wilder. He's more relatable to the average person.
I disagree with the marketable. You know who's the most marketable fighter in boxing?
Who?
Mike Tyson. You know why? Because people were terrified of what Mike Tyson's gonna do to the guy in the ring.
But I don't really see.
Did you hear what Wilder said in his last fight?
What did he say?
That he wants the body on his record.
Oh, okay, I heard
They
that
investigated him
Yeah.
after that.
But
Even though there's
that's-
no investigation, he said it.
too. Addis, you're talking Mike Tyson, 80s, 90s. The world is soft in 2019. People do not want to
Yeah.
see that. Okay? The
You
way
know
it
who
is
wants to
now,
see that?
Anthony Joshua was the future of boxing. Now this takes a big hit to, I think, as boxing as a whole, what they were trying to do. And
But I'm telling you, like it's been talked about before how they
but as
set
the
up
point I was
Joshua.
getting to is, that's why it's not crazy to me to think that Joshua should be paid maybe a little bit more than a Wilder. I don't think it should be a 70-30. That is retarded.
Yeah.
But because he is the more marketable guy, people are going to watch Deontay Wilder who are heavy boxing fans because they want to see him
Not
murder
really,
somebody.
bro. People want to see Deontay Wilder because they know they're gonna see a knockout.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
saying.
it's gonna
People
be
who
real
are
quick.
big boxing fans.
No, but I mean, like, even you would want to watch Deontay Wilder, like, because
Yeah, but I don't even know nothing about Deontay Wilder. Like, I know some stuff, but everybody you talk to, everybody was watching Anthony Joshua this weekend. People have never watched boxing in their lives. People who are like that, our buddies. Bovin has never watched a Deontay Wilder fight in his life. This guy couldn't
You know
wait
why?
to watch Anthony Joshua.
Deontay Wilder's, yeah, again, like as you were saying, how soft this generation is.
Yeah.
He's
Not calling our buddy soft, but
they keep
it's-
calling him like a PR nightmare because he won't listen to his PR rep. If they tell him, please don't talk about killing someone, don't talk about saying that you want this guy to die in this fight,
Yeah.
he's just be like, fuck you, I'm talking how I feel.
Yeah.
And
But-
fuck.
So
To me,
what I'm saying is,
that fires me up for
you
those
you
fights.
know the hardcore boxing fans like yourself are gonna be there when there's a Deontay Wilder fight, right? And whether he's fighting Joshua or somebody else. But
The thing is,
you
they're
never
only
even let me
gonna-
finish this
but I'm
point.
saying Deontay, like they'll only be there if he's fighting, because like in the
No,
heavyweight
I'm saying
division, it's those
when
three,
if
and
I'm
they
saying
don't-
if it's a Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua
Yeah.
fight, right? The hardcore fans, they know what Wilder's about, and whether he's fighting somebody else. But the generic people were just, oh, there's a big fight going on. Nobody was talking about Deontay Wilder versus that Brazil guy the way this hype caught with Joshua facing a
know why?
replacement Andy Ruiz. I'm telling you, he's more marketable, he's more relatable to the people,
spends
and he
more
will
time in the
bring.
media and
Yeah.
the commercials. And
There
the
you go.
shows.
They're more marketable, and he will bring more money to
And
the
that will
event,
not
to
win you a
pay-per-view
boxing
than
fight.
Deontay Wilder
You
will.
can't have those We've talked about this countless times.
Okay, that's fine, but
can't
I'm
have
saying from
one
the money
foot-
standpoint, when it comes to Joshua versus Wilder, why Joshua potentially has an argument why he should make more money, he is going to bring more people to that pay-per-view and to pay for it and make the more money than Deontay Wilder will.
That's not true.
Because those hardcore fans are going to come regardless with Wilder. But they're just watching boxing.
But I
Joshua
mean,
is
like-
bringing those casual fans.
But again, people are not going to be paying for pay-per-views seeing Joshua Ruiz. You know what they're going to do? Stream it somewhere. Find a free stream. Deontay Wilder and Joshua, people don't want to miss that fight. And this is where he fucked up. Because he chose... Okay, when he was in England, his career was so set up that he would fight guys so... Like, I'll just quickly round this up. He fought guys before they were in their primes.
Who? Joshua or Wilder?
No, Joshua. So and then when he fought Klitschko, which was his biggest fight they talked about, that was Klitschko's last fight before retirement. He was getting close to 40. Now, comes over to the States, has no idea who these fighters are. They fucked up. They chose the wrong guy, knocked him out. Now,
Yeah, his promoter's a moron. What have you been saying?
future fights are ruined.
But here's the thing. You're so pissed. I was pissed that Joshua lost, but you're so pissed because you want to see these fights,
Literally,
right?
Yeah.
But
he ruined those fights.
as Joshua said, this is not the end of the road. It's a long road to get to where you want to be. How old is Joshua?
Hmm?
He's pretty young. I know Wilder's old, but his career, he did not F up his whole
Yeah, but
career here or
everyone-
something.
Everyone knows in boxing, like, it's stupid, but in boxing it's true. Once you lose that undefeated record, people stop looking at you, really. Look at Mayweather. You know why Mayweather was fucking the biggest pay-per-view draw in boxing?
Well, yeah, because he never lost.
Never lost.
He also runs away during the fights, but I'm going to
The fights are different. Hey, when he fights, I can understand why people don't enjoy it. I enjoy it because I'm an avid boxing
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
fan, but people still bought it. People knew it was going to be a bad fight watching it, but you still bought it because you wanted to see, is he going to lose?
Dude, I thought you
Joshua
said
does
the
not
other...
have that market.
You said the other day Deontay Wilder was so old. He's only 33.
No, he has to be older than 33.
I'm telling you, he's only 33. So
Oh.
I don't know why you're so worked up. There is still so much time for that fight to happen. If Joshua beats Ruiz, maybe gets another fight under his belt to learn the North
But I'm saying
American
the fight's
fighters.
not as big anymore. and that's fact. Because again,
Yeah, but still, how long did it take for Pacquiao and Floyd? And they were so old. Didn't Pacquiao lose before that fight? But it was still so hyped.
In boxing.
No, it always happened. But this is the way it is in boxing.
it was hyped.
Nobody fights each other in their prime, which is what we were talking about the other day.
But I'm saying basic fans were so hyped about that fight. I knew I'm like, this
was
is
gonna be
not
shit.
the fight to see. And it's gonna be a bad fight. So every time people were getting mad after, I'm like, what the fuck did you expect? You expect them to both just start trying to kill each other? No, because that's not how they fight, and they're not.
That's not where they are in their careers.
Exactly.
And that's why I posed a question to you after that fight. I said, when's the last time two heavyweights in their prime that were title contenders fought?
Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury.
Before that?
They were the only two to.
Before that?
Huh?
We're talking 90s now.
Oh, heavyweight boxing's been dead forever.
Exactly.
And now it's finally alive, and now Joshua just fucked it up again by losing.
All right, it's all his fault. But that's what I mean is that's the way boxing is. Since Mike Tyson, all those guys, that whole generation retired, the heavyweight has always been the top division of boxing, and it sucked because nobody fights in their prime. There hasn't been those big names until now, and I think we're still gonna see it. I don't know how old Joshua is, but he's younger than 30, and it's gonna happen. And Wilder's only 33. This is not gonna be a Floyd and Pacquiao 2.0. They're gonna fight within the next 2 years. Mark my words, and it'll be a good fight.
A lot of especially with heavyweight boxing, 35 is usually the age you start diminishing. So
as I said, he'll fight Ruiz November, and then 6 months from there. Because when's that Wilder fight happening where he said he's gonna fight the next guy?
Luis Ortiz. I don't think they haven't announced.
Okay, so that'll probably be within 6 months.
Yeah.
And then after Joshua and Ruiz, they can schedule Joshua Wilder.
Wilder's not looking at Joshua anymore. He's looking for Fury next.
All right, that's still gonna be a sick fight.
No, that's a sick fight, but that's
2.0
what I mean. Joshua
though.
kind of just took himself out of that. It was the three heavyweights: Fury, Wilder, Joshua. Now it's Fury, Wilder.
What I foresee happening: Joshua beats Ruiz. Deontay does.
That's the thing. Can Joshua beat Ruiz?
Listen, he will. Okay, so Deontay beats whoever he's fighting next, and then Deontay goes to fight Fury for the second time, and then so that guy's gonna be dubbed the best in heavyweight. Whoever wins that fight.
Yeah.
Joshua will end up fighting the loser of that fight, and then if he wins, we'll fight whoever won that fight. If he loses, he's done. But that's what I think is gonna happen. The loser of Wilder Fury is gonna fight Joshua.
Yeah.
And then
that Wilder Fury fight's not gonna happen. They said late 2020.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we're thinking 3 years from now we might see the fight, which is again Pacquiao Mayweather, which I don't want to see happen.
Dude, those guys were both late 30s.
Huh?
Those guys were both late 30s at that point. No?
Yeah.
Totally different. All right, we've. You know what? Boxing is back. As much as you're trying to say Joshua just killed it, I've never had a 15 to 20 minute.
He killed the money fight.
Yeah, I've never had a 15, 20 minute discussion, and never thought I would on a podcast about heavyweight boxing.
And now you
so
do.
It's back. All right, and
is.
Let's end off there. I still like Anthony Joshua. UK, I'm sorry, we sat the hell down.
I'm sorry too, man.
You saw my face that night. You just kept saying, "Wow, Jay's hurt."
I was laughing so hard, bro. This guy's face, it looked like his fucking dog just died.
Whoa, relax. Don't jinx it. The man's turning 13, bro. Knock on wood.
Man looked like he just got his fucking lunch money stolen, bro.
Dude, I'm just happy I didn't bet on that fight, man. Been losing some stupid bets lately.
I know, you wanted to bet with me last podcast about that fight.
Dude, you should. Even that night, I'm like, who's taking Ruiz? Who's taking Ruiz? 10, 20, 30. Who's about it? Nobody was about it. Everybody should have taken my money. But, yeah, we'll close off with that. Boxing's back. The Raptors got a lot of work to do to get ready for Game 3. And Kyle Dubas, my man, good luck with the offseason and trading Marleau and Zaitsev. Just remember,
at least got a lot to do before the season starts.
You still got to fill out that blue line. It's not just Mitch Martin that's the issue. And we'll leave you with that. For Andy Kucukovic, I'm Jay Boyal. Thanks for watching In The Mix.